Uh-oh, my podcast left.
Hey, everybody.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Unwrapping the Gift of Grief. We're back for episode 4 with our special guest, Sharon Marshall.
Hi.
Hey, Tasha, what's going on, chick?
Hey y'all, hey girl, hey ladies. How are you all doing?
Girl,
Um,
all is well. All is well,
Welcome,
girl.
welcome, welcome everybody. Hey Sharon, welcome aboard.
Hi, Tasha. How are you all? Y'all
I
forgive me.
am
I look a
wonderful.
little ashy. I just got to working out.
It's all right. It's all right.
Girl, that's okay, girl. That's okay. So today, I want to start this podcast off a little different. I want to send some light and love to my friend Buck Poe in the loss of his grandfather. Friend, I love you so much. I'm here for you. And just understand that grief is a feeling that you really can't explain at the moment. As we spoke about it earlier, sit with it. Just let your feelings do what it's going to do. And we shall talk a little bit later. Okay, so, like I said, we back with episode 4 with Sharon Marshall on here. Sharon, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm Sharon Marshall. I'm a PK. Um, I guess the reason for me being on the podcast is because I definitely experienced grief. Um, I want to say within 2 years, I lost my dad, my mom, and my baby brother, and he was murdered. An act
Mhm.
of violence. He was murdered and then body set on fire, and so that was like terrible for me. And so I guess that's the reason I'm a guest on the show, and I'm glad I get to talk about it and help somebody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. Sharon, I need you to bring your camera up a little bit to your face. Yep, yep, because we want to see that beautiful smile, girl. Okay, so like I said, this show, we don't have a bunch of frills or fluffs in this show. It's natural, raw, uncut, no holds barred. We gonna
Unedited.
dive unedited, unedited. Tonight I got me some tea, so I'm sipping
I
light
have
tonight.
some wine.
She has some wine.
I had some ice. It's all gone now.
I done had that too.
Babe, you got you a big gulp cup. All
Yes.
right now. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Um, how do you define grief? What
Grief
does
for
your grief look like?
grief for me was. I think grief for everybody is different, but grief for
Mhm.
me, I went through a state of depression. It was crazy because there was so many people around me, and still nobody like they had no idea except my one friend. He came over and he was like, he called me and he came over and he was asking me like, it was like he looked right through me. He was like, "You're not okay, are you?" And I was like, "No." But everybody else around me, like they had no clue that I was going through a state of depression. And it was like so weird because I was around these people all the time. I want to say almost every day. If not every day, I was definitely talking to them all the time. Because my brother transpired and he was murdered in January, the beginning of the year, January 9th. And so it was during the winter, so I wasn't around them that much, but I was still on the phone with them. And so grief for me, yeah, I went through an entire state of depression. And I'll say, after my brother died, his kids had asked to come over my house, and truthfully, I didn't feel like being bothered because it hurt me. His death was like terrible, so it had hurt me real bad. And I didn't want to be bothered, like I said, but they they don't know it. They probably don't know it still today. They are they helped me heal because I had surrounded myself with the kids. With kids, I ain't have to explain nothing. I didn't have to explain anything to them. Kids don't pay attention. They were young adults. That's what I call them. They were young adults. And so I didn't have to explain nothing to them. They, kids, some younger kids can see through you and be like, you okay? Everything okay? You all right, mommy? But they were young adults. So I was able to heal with them around me. And so, yeah. So yeah, my grief, I went through a state of depression for a while. It prompted me to start working out and everything, cause yeah, it was terrible for me.
Yeah, grief is definitely a terrible journey, and it's crazy that you just said that um, your kids help you to heal.
Yeah.
Because what I realize is other adults that have hasn't experienced the journey that we've taken cannot understand and can't really pinpoint the moment that we're grieving or we're
Mm,
having these emotional overwhelming days. So it's like with kids, they love on you and they're aware because you're their mom, and they
mm-hmm,
want to love on you and help you get better. And for me, my daughter, I think for me, my daughter was my ride or die through my grandma and my mama. Um, Although my son, he's a mama's boy, he was always right up on me. But my daughter and I, we created ha- we created a great, wonderful bond through the losses that I had. So
yeah,
I definitely understand that. And
yep,
thank you. Thank you for sharing that with
yes.
us. Tasha, what
And
you
I,
got? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Go ahead,
Sharon.
no,
Sharon.
I was gonna say it wasn't my kids, my immediate kids. It was like my nieces and nephews, like my brother kids, his three
Okay.
daughters. Um, I just had a lot of young people in my house. And so, young people, they natural silly self. They
Yes.
just they literally
Yes.
they natural silly self.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
there was times where I would be like mentally going through it. They would make me laugh. They would be like, let's play cards or let's do this. And we'll get in the kitchen and get the cooking and stuff together. And so every day if I wasn't cooking every day, I cooked every other day. But 9 times out of 10, I cooked every day and I probably cooked two or
Mm,
three times a day. And so that's what helped me to heal because they, it was almost as if they forced life to go on as usual for me. Where if they weren't there, it wouldn't have.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of that is because they were his children. So because they were his children, they looking at you like, TT, we got you. And they probably look like him. Couple of them, they all may have a piece of him that
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
reminds you of him. One
Yes.
might be the silly him, one might be the serious him,
Yeah.
one might be the calm storm him. So, like you said, the children, the young people, um, were that were that pillar for you to hold on
Mm-hmm.
to. And
Absolutely.
I can relate to that because my mom passed away almost 8 months ago on the 10th of this month. And
Mm, I'm sorry about that.
um, the journey from last April up until she passed away, it was me and my children. My kids was holding me down like, Mom, come home. We'll go. We'll let you take a break and we'll go see about Mom. When I had to result in putting her into a nursing home, I was like, I would tell the team of the medical team, I don't need y'all because this is what I do. I got my mom. Y'all take care of your other residents. I got her. I'll be her nurse. And I was there from sun up to sundown. That's when my workout journey started because I would walk there, walk back. So my workout journey started with that because that's when
Yeah.
I found a peace of mind to God, how can I do this? God, how am I going to get through this? God, what is it that you want me to do? What is it that you're trying to tell me in all of this? Because we went through this process to still get here. If
Mm-hmm.
we were going to get here, Why did you take us through this process over there if we were still going to end up here? So my kids, especially my daughter, when I say held it down like none other, oh my God.
Mhm.
So I can relate to that. So, like you say, kids don't quite understand because they still got us. They still got their
Yeah.
moms, their dads, and all they can do is just, cry with us. Come on, mama, we got you. My
Mhm.
kids know when
Yep.
I get quiet, when I'm having a moment, they know because they'll come in with some flowers or some things that I like. Here, mama, this some granny like. So they do
Mhm.
understand. They understand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, Sharon, you spoke about grief with your brother. Um, Describe grief with your parents, because I'm quite sure that was totally different.
Totally
Oh
different.
yeah, that was totally different. With my dad, I was a daddy's girl. Anybody know me know that I'm a
Hmm.
daddy's girl, and so yeah, that hurt me to the core. Yeah, it was that was terrible for me. Hi, pretty. I'm sorry, y'all. This is my neighbor's baby. Hi, pretty. But yeah, that was terrible for me. Losing my dad, because like I said, I was a daddy's girl. I would call my daddy and tell him stuff that people probably would not normally tell their dads because I had a relationship. Like during the course of me being married in months, my boyfriend at the time, he had cheated and made a baby. And when he was calling me to get back with me, I was like, hell no, we'll never get back together. And so I made him go to my dad and talk to my dad, like, and if my dad give us blessings, then I date you again. And yeah. So yeah, my dad was everything to me. So losing my dad was like really terrible for me. I thought I could still operate in life and still do stuff and still get up and go to work. And I could not. I would get up every day attempting to go to work. I probably missed like the first 2 days, and then I would get up attempting to go to work. I would have breakdowns at work to the point I was leaving work every single day. I probably left work. I probably didn't work for like 7 days. It affected me more than I thought it would. And so, even with my mom, that was bad for me as well because she passed during COVID.
Mm,
So, my brother passed in March. 6 months later, my mother transitioned in June. And they remember they just shut the world down in my brother passed in January. They shut the world down in March, and then here go my mom. She passed in June, so I didn't even get a chance to see my mother for a
mm.
while since COVID, and that really hurt. And so, yeah, those were different, totally different.
So,
And the
so
only
at
reason,
some point, so
go
at
ahead.
some point, Sharon, during that time, um, were you allowed to see your mom at some point, whether through the door or whatever,
No,
just on the
absolutely.
phone?
Absolutely not. And that's because at that point, my mother was in a nursing home. So if you had family in
Yep,
a nursing home, you could
yep.
not enter
You could
whatsoever.
not access.
Be,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
exactly, because they were
yeah.
scared that you would infect the, COVID affected older people more than it did anybody. And so
Mm-hmm.
those
Mm-hmm.
people were more
Mm-hmm.
sickly and everything else. So no, I did not get to see my mom before she passed. Did
My
not.
God.
Yeah, and see, my grandmother was in the nursing home, and I would have to go to the window to see her,
Mm,
or they'll roll her out in the wheelchair, and I will be standing in the lobby and will have to wave or talk through
Way
the
down the
glass
hall.
lobby door. Like
I
that,
Mm-hmm.
wish.
that whole COVID shutdown was
Yeah,
so much. But I am glad that I got a chance to actually do that
yeah, because we did not.
because so many
And
people
it's
were,
hard when you
lost from their
don't.
family, and you were.
And it's hard when you don't get that chance to say your final goodbyes or see you later or set your eyes on them for that last time
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
when they're in those facilities and it's a COVID outbreak and a shutdown, to them, they like, I just want to see my family. I don't
Yeah.
want this food. I want to talk to my
Mhm.
family because, most times there are no phones in the rooms. And if they're older, they might can't reach the phone, their cell phone, because you got nurses that don't want to plug them and charge them. I went through that too. And I'm just like, listen, I told y'all when I brought my mother here, I'm the one you don't want to play with because I know how to go up the chain of command and how to
Mhm.
bypass some stuff. And I report y'all and have you fired. And I had to go through that a couple of times. So
Yeah.
I definitely that is understandable and that's rough. It's hard.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. What
Absolutely.
what helped us is the fact that, and that's why I say God don't make no mistakes. He know exactly what he be doing because my mom had dementia, so she had no
Mm,
idea that it was us that
mm,
it weighed heavy on, because we
yeah.
felt like she died alone.
Mhm.
Like in our mind, we was like we couldn't be there. She basically died alone. She didn't. That was not her experience. Because when you got dementia, you relive. You're literally reliving your life
You
all over
relive.
again. And
Absolutely.
so,
You see things from
Absolutely.
way back whenever. Yes.
yep. And so that was the blessing about it. That was the blessed part about it, because she had no idea. Like at that point, she didn't even know she had kids. We would come up there. She'd be like, "Y'all so pretty. Like y'all my sisters." You know what I'm saying? And we be
Oh
like, "No,
wow.
we your daughter. Like that's why we calling you mom." But in her, she like, "I don't got no kids." So she was
And
reliving
dementia.
life at that point. So like I said, it affected us more than it affected her.
Mhm.
And going through
So she
dementia, that
probably,
Mhm.
also takes you back to, like with my mom, they
mm-hmm,
wanted to keep saying she didn't have it. I'm like, listen, y'all doctors, how y'all gonna tell me I'm just a nurse's assistant? This girl is dealing with some form of dementia or Alzheimer's. I say, you're not gonna tell me.
mm-hmm,
And she's speaking to people, seeing people like, look, that ain't go. That's
yeah,
been dead over 50 years, and 20 years, and like her
Right.
mom. My
Right.
grandmother been deceased since I was 8 years old. And I mean, she talking to him like, I'm coming. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you ain't. Talking to
yeah,
my dad that's been gone 32 years. I'm like, no, you're not. Girl,
mm-hmm,
he waving. Don't you see him waving? I'm like, uh-uh. And in the beginning, I was like, yeah, I see him. And I would wave back. And then I had to say, listen, just let her know, no, you're speaking in a past life that is no more. And when you're ready to step over there, you step over there when you're ready. But right now, and she will snap back and she will say, I'm not ready. When I'm ready, I'm going. I'll be like, okay, stay on this side then.
mm-hmm,
Stay over here. So you're right about
And
that,
see you
going through that dementia state.
yeah,
see I also I went through that with my grandmother, and what I did not do, I didn't bring her back. I let her stay in that space, cuz for me I would go up there and sit for hours every day, and she would talk to her mother, she would talk to her dad, she would talk to cousins that's been gone and her sister. But I can recall one conversation that kind of broke me down. Actually, it was two conversations. She had one conversation with her dad, and she was asking her dad, could she have some ice cream for the last
Hmm.
time? And she
Hmm.
was talking and crying like she was probably about 8 years old. She was like, please, daddy, please, can I please have some ice cream for the last
mm,
time? And girl, it made me go to Culver's and get my grandma some ice cream. Like, this is
mm-hmm,
weird, but okay. And then, like a few days later, I was sitting up there and she was having a conversation with one of her cousins who has been passed on, and basically telling her that get the ironing board because she want to press her clothes out because this is what
Hmm.
she gonna wear. I was
Hmm.
like, what you gonna wear it to? She
Her
was
final
like, when
resting
I get
place.
up there, they getting me ready.
Oh.
mm,
I was like, oh, okay, all right. So it's a trip when they're going through that phase of dementia and when they're transitioning.
yeah,
And but it's hard on us that sitting there watching it.
yeah. But them is not.
It's not.
They
It's
they
not.
be in a
It's
happy
not.
state. They literally be in
Hey,
a
they
happy
do.
state.
They
Yes, they
do
do.
because I can say, um, when I had to take my mom back to the hospital, it went from taking her in because I was pissed that my brother let them. sent him back to the facility. And then he called saying, Mama don't look right. I'm like, what you mean? She don't even know who I am. I'm like, she was talking fast to me when I was up there. She don't know who I am. I'm like, well, if you saying she don't look right, why would you let them take her out of there? Why would you wait and call me
Mm-hmm.
now when it's after hours and intake in a nursing facility? After hour intake, they don't do nothing but take you in. They don't have enough sense to say, no, this ain't how this resident is. Let's
Mm-hmm.
take them back. I had to get there and
Mm-hmm.
take her back. And
Mm-hmm.
the emergency physician say, I don't even know why they released her in this frame of mind because she was not in her right frame of mind. And it went from in and out, in and out. That night, this was a Sunday night going into Monday morning. And we're going to admit her, take her upstairs. We did that, got upstairs in a room, got settled, to them running tests, to the doctor coming in saying, okay, give me your evaluation. What do you see? I told him what I saw. Mind you, that Sunday, I took my mom communion. I gave her communion. We ate dinner. We ate lunch. We watched some shoot 'em ups, all of that. We laughed and joked like nothing was wrong. Then she said, okay, girl, when these shoot 'em ups go off, I'm going to sleep. She went to sleep. She didn't wake back up.
Wow.
All her, I'm looking at her vitals. I'm like, vitals are good, but she keep going to this place, not coming back. So when the doctor came in, and I gave him my eval of what I thought and what I saw, I said, my mama tired. I see that these vitals are good, these numbers good, but her body is shutting down. And it went from that to is nothing else we can do. She's going to hospice. I'm like, wait a minute now. Wait,
Right.
wait, wait,
That
wait.
hospice
I
life
say,
scary.
I was like, wait. I say, we that's where we at right now. He say, dialysis is not working anymore. She wasn't diabetic. She had kidney cancer. We
Mm-hmm.
had to remove one. I'm like, I knew that it wasn't functioning anymore at 14%. I say, but we down to no more function? He said, we're to no more function. It's been no more function for a long time. I said, nobody said anything. But anyhow, we ended up going to hospital. I said, well, when are we going? He said, right now. I'm like, wait, because I ain't ready. I'm like, because that meant, I say, but I know people have went to hospice and was given a time frame and they lived 6 years past that, 2, 3 years past that. We went up to hospice. My mama said, am I dying? She woke up. I was like, no, girl. Yes, I am. That's why they keep giving me all these baths. I said, no, you coming from one floor to another floor. They're going to make sure you clean. When I tell you I watched her demise, I saw the change in the breathing patterns. I told my kids, I say, Mama don't have long. I say, give or take 1 week from today. And just as sure as I said it, we got her home that Wednesday, that following Thursday, she was gone.
Wow.
I sat up with her every day during this journey from April until November, just playing gospel music.
Mm-hmm.
So, some of her favorites.
Mm-hmm.
The morning of the 10th, from the ninth all the way into midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, I was sitting up on the side of her bed, just singing to her. She would grab my hand and squeeze it, and I had to get myself together. And I said, Mama, if you're tired, because she could no longer respond to me. I said, if you're tired, I said, it's okay. I ain't ready for you to go, but it's not my call. If you are tired and you are ready, I told her, go ahead and cross over. And I promise you, at the crack of dawn, I got up, got my grandbabies ready for school. My grandbabies left out the building. My baby left out and went to school. My mama passed away. She didn't want to do it while I feel like she didn't want to do it while the kids were in the house.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you broke me down,
Yeah.
I don't care how prepared we think we are,
You
when it
never ready.
happens, it's like it just hit like I'm just finding out you're leaving. And I'm like, what the hell? This the hand you're dealing me? But the fact
Mm-hmm.
that I was able to bring her home like I wanted to, and she left at home in my house, I was okay with that. But I wasn't okay.
Right.
If that you know what I
It make
mean.
all the sense in the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Wow. Like Tasha, you
Yeah.
just said something about how your mother didn't want, like you felt like she didn't want to pass while the kids were there.
Mm-mm.
And I have a similar story. Like I woke up that morning, on the 25th, went kissed my mama. She was asleep because she had went to sleep that Thursday and did not wake back up. But before she went to sleep, she actually had a conversation with me and my
Mm.
friend Tawanda. And she basically was telling us thank you for all y'all did and giving me
Woo.
final instructions. And then she
Mm.
said, all right, girl, see y'all on the other side. And that night,
Wow.
that lady went to sleep and
And
did
see,
not
me and
wake
my
back
mama
up.
had that conversation that Wednesday morning, 5 a.m., and she went 2 days later.
Wow.
And so that morning, the morning that she died, I got up. Like I said, she was sleeping. And I kissed her. I told her, I'll see you later, girl, when I get off work. And it takes me, at that time, it took me 28 minutes to get to work. I had done got to work, got on my bus, pulled my
Mm-mm.
bus out of the garage, and was two lights away from my garage. And my
Mm-mm.
dispatcher was calling me saying, hey, call your sister Tawanda. So when they was like, call your sister Tawanda, I already knew what that meant.
Yeah.
So when I called
Mm-mm.
Tawanda, Tawanda was like, she's gone. And I'm like, I just left.
Mm.
I just left.
She didn't
Like
want to go while you
you
was
did,
there. She didn't
you
want to
didn't
go.
want to go while I was there, and you gave me a chance to go go get a fresh breath of air for a moment,
Yeah.
and then collect myself, and then come back and deal with all that I had to deal with. But the
Yeah.
blessing and all of that is when she went to sleep on that Thursday night, we had a conversation,
Yeah. She
and
had
I
Yeah.
had
released everything.
closure, and she talked to me and told me, thank you for all that you've done for me. And that in itself was enough for me.
Yeah.
And
Enough.
I know my mom is in heaven. That's enough for me. That's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And see, what my
child.
mama told
Okay.
me when she woke me up, I gotta tell you something. I said, Mama, it's 5 o'clock. It wasn't even daylight outside. I was like, what? She said, sit up. You know I love you. And I was like, yeah, ma, because I was
Mm.
tired. I'd be up all night. I was like, yeah, ma, I love you
Right.
too. And I just, no, sit up. Because I don't think you realize how much I love you. Everything you've done. And some of the instructions that she gave me, all of them hats at my house, you better wear them. Because now you got to walk this walk. I'm like, I wear hats from time to time. She's like, no, I'm passing it down to you. I love you. I thank you for putting your life on hold. Now go live your life. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
okay, mama. I say I will when it's that time. And so that morning for me to step out the door, literally just for a couple of minutes and walk back in just like that. And she was just pale. My daughter-in-law was like, why her lips look like that? I'm like, who? We both done ran and washed our hands because we coming in from outside. And I walk up and I just scream because I'm like, no, you didn't. I was right here with you. That was the reason I brought you home. So when you went away, when you crossed over, I could be right here with you. And I felt like she took that part away from me. But I also feel like she did it that way because she knew it would have broke me down even more.
Yeah.
So
And either
there's
way, she was
always
in her
a
comfort
lesson.
zone.
Absolutely. It's always a way to do it. And she
Absolutely.
went out gracefully.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's close this one. Because
Yeah.
we can stay here all day,
Hmm.
baby.
Hmm.
We can stay here all day. Uh
So we're
so
gonna close it with the coke. And
I'm
how
gonna
do you
ask
cope?
Sharon first.
Huh?
No, we just gonna close that. We just gonna close that question.
Okay.
Yeah. She
Okay.
just
Because we can
closed it
stay
on
on
Okay.
that all day.
question. Right.
We can.
I'm close that question because baby, oh child. Uh
Yes,
yeah,
Nikki. God knows.
Sharon.
Yes.
What's your what do you think is the biggest misconception about grief?
Oh, time. You
Like,
know,
what are
man,
some
you had that
things?
conversation.
What's some things some people done said? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they ain't nobody said nothing to me. Not about no death and no
Hey,
grief. I wish they would. But I've heard people I've heard people say like she still like that happened over a year ago or 2 years ago. Like
Yes.
she still ain't over it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest.
mm-hmm.
One time there was a friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, an associate, and she was on Facebook, and I would see her constantly grieving her mother, and I would like, I wasn't saying like, man, she ain't over it like that, but my question was like, man, death hurt like that, that was more so of like, man, death hurt like that you grieve that long. Oh, I gotta
Right,
tell
because you
you
hadn't
this.
experienced it.
Exactly. At that point, I hadn't experienced it. Oh, but I
Mm-hmm.
got my chance to see. Cause I don't know. It just seemed like if you, I always tell people, if you have a heart to be like, it's taking that long. Oh, you'll wear them shoes. That's when you gonna get your experience. Like keep your mouth
Everybody
closed and
gotta
just
sit in
allow
that
people to
seat.
grieve. Cause
Everybody.
yeah, you gonna get your experience,
I,
and ain't no
I
telling how
always
it's
say that.
coming. It might be a
Mm-hmm.
mother,
I
a
always say
father, a
everybody.
kid, a sister, a
Uh-huh.
brother. You gonna get your chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think
Absolutely.
that's the biggest misconception about grief that people um that's the biggest question about grief. I think that people have a hard time with, like, how long you supposed to grieve. There is no time frame,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no time frame. You will grieve forever. And it some
Absolutely.
people grieve differently. It depends on, I tell people all the time, because I was offended when people would tell me, I won't lie, I would be super offended when people would be like, I know what you're going through. That would
Woo!
offend me so bad, because no, you do not. You may not have had the same relationship I had with my dad. You may
We
not
talk
have
about
had the same
that.
relationship
We
I
talk
had with
about it.
this person. Man, so for me, that was offensive. And I know they probably meant no harm, but to me, sometimes, like, just
Just
be
don't
quiet.
say
If you don't
nothing
know
if
what
you
to
don't
say,
know.
shut up.
Listen.
Yeah,
If
Mhm.
because I hate for people to go churchy on me. God don't make no mistakes. Don't tell me that. That, to me, that's just not right. The right time for you to allow that to come out your mouth. That's not
or
what
they
a person
say
going
they
Exactly.
in
through.
a better
Exactly.
place. How do you know
Yeah,
they in a better place? Everybody ain't going
exactly,
up there. Everybody ain't going
exactly.
down there
Show
either. Some
right.
people you don't know where they gonna
Show
end
right.
up at.
Yeah.
You
And
don't know
so
where
all
they're
of
Listen.
at.
that is
Nope.
offensive to me, because you just don't know. That's offensive. And sometimes it's like, that's why I say I do not like when people be over churchy. Like, I, I do not understand that. Like, keep your
It'll get you
scriptures to
cursed out.
yourself. Exactly. Keep your scriptures to yourself sometimes. If God don't give you exactly what to say, because at that point you dealing with a person that's grieving, and you don't know how grief looks to them. You don't know how grief
Yes.
Exactly.
feels to them.
Exactly.
And so
You
therefore,
don't know.
like, they easy to be offended. It's easy to offend somebody that's grieving. Super easy. And it might be something you say on a regular, and y'all have had these conversations, but during the time that they grieving is not the right time. And so, yeah,
Absolutely.
those are two triggers for me. How long you gonna grieve, and yeah, don't hit me with all the scriptures. Don't do that to me.
There
And
is
don't
no
tell me you know
time
what I'm going
frame.
through.
There's
Yeah,
no
There
time
is no
frame.
time
There's
frame.
no time
it is
frame.
not.
I I find myself some days just drained and emotionally overwhelmed with grief.
Yeah,
Like it comes from nowhere. Like I was good,
yeah.
but you cannot put a time frame on it. You definitely can't put a time.
Especially,
And also,
I would
mhm.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially during the time that they transition, or their birthday, or certain
Woo!
holidays come up, you might not even be
Girl,
thinking about that. Like, when I know it's time for my mother and father both passed in June. So I try to stay off of Facebook as much as I can in June. I didn't want to come across those memories, so I would not hit the
Yeah.
memory because I didn't want to. I wanted my day to be good, prosperous, and like any other day for me. I didn't want to be sad. There's some people that do mourn the dead, and they, how would you say it, like they celebrate their death
Mhm.
anniversary. And so that's not what our family do. We don't get together and release balloons or none of that. We want our day to go as normal as possible because it was a bond. And so I try to stay away from that. But you got them times that it'll just come over you and you be like, why I can't shake this, and it be around their birthday or their death
Yeah.
anniversary and
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Holidays for
I've
me
heard
are,
people say,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Tasha.
Crystal.
Now I
I've
was gonna
had
say
people say,
holidays for me.
um,
You gonna go.
you go.
Okay. Holidays for me are kind of the worst. So what I do on holidays, I push myself to be involved in cooking all day, throwing events in my house, because that takes my mind off of my
Hmm.
loved ones. And like, even on holidays, when people ask me, well, I still have it'd be a mundane feeling, and they or a look or something on me, and they'll be like, well, what's wrong with you? Not realizing that I'm pressing my way through this holiday. I'm pushing through this holiday, and I'm forcing
Hmm.
myself to
It's
enjoy
a,
this holiday.
yeah.
So that's one of the biggest misconceptions for me. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, something gonna be wrong with me all the time because I'm still grieving. It hasn't left me.
Yeah.
It has not left me. You know. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Tasha.
And so, like, for me, like, it's the first of everything, the first year. Like, my
Yeah.
mom's birthday is rolling around this Sunday.
Mm.
And my brother has decided he's going to have a birthday memorial gathering this Saturday. She loves soul food, so they're going to do a whole spread. And I'm like, I ain't with that. I'm like,
You sound like me.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I ain't with that. But yeah, ooh, like it's a lot. And people say, well, when their birthdays roll around, don't be sad. How you gonna tell me how to feel? Don't tell me how to feel within my first year. Cause
Hmm.
when
Mm-hmm.
that moment,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can be riding and you having a good day and the music bumping and you in it, and out of nowhere, here they come falling.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
like, or you in the house doing whatever, and here they come falling. You in a good space,
Yep.
but here come the gloom feeling. And
Yeah.
it's like, man. And I've had people say, don't sit in that, don't sit in that. And I've almost said some things. Listen, don't tell me what to sit in, and your mama's still here. Don't tell
Exactly.
me what to sit in and your daddy's
Exactly.
still here, because I don't
Exactly.
want to hear
Exactly.
that. You don't know what I feel. One, you didn't have the relationship with my mama that I had. And two, I almost said, Mammy, your mother or your father is still here. Don't come for me like that. Because when you
Yeah.
come for me like that, you're about going to get told some things or two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Now I talk about how on my 39th birthday, because I lost my mom that year, my 40th birthday. I talk about how I woke up that morning and I had just this headache. It felt like my head was gonna explode. Like, I'm turning 40. This is a big year for me, and my mother is not here. And at the time, I was dating someone. Now this is funny. I was dating someone, Sharon. You know who this person is. And I kept saying, like, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything. And he was like, you don't want to do nothing. I was like, no, I don't feel well today. I'm not in a good mood. I don't want to do anything. So he goes on to say, well, you just gonna sit there and cry and be sad on your birthday. And then when I did decide to do something, I was like, well, come out here to the house and we can do something. I'm not taking no Uber to come to come out there to your house. If you want to do something for your birthday, you get up and you come get me.
What?
Uh, Number one, it's my 40th birthday. I'm grieving my mama, and this is what we doing.
And I'd have been
Yeah,
like,
nah, bro.
deuces.
Nah, bro. We can't. We can't do this. And Deuce was already on my mind at the time for some other stuff. But I was like, "Are you
Yeah, you.
serious?" It's just like the way that people think you should act when it comes around to special occasions and special days. It's not normal anymore.
No.
Mm-mm.
This is not normal for
And
me. So now I got to figure out how to process my feelings on this day because my I should not be without my mom on my 40th birthday.
yeah,
Man, listen.
yeah. And I
Listen.
had to learn. I had to ask God to forgive me at times because I had a moment like they said it's 7 stages of grief, and so I had
Mm-hmm.
moments where I was bitter. And for people who didn't
Mm-hmm.
understand, like I
Mm-hmm.
had to ask God to forgive me because I wanted them to experience it so they would understand.
Ooh.
And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah,
I
I
Mm-hmm.
literally, I can be honest, I literally had to ask God to forgive me and take that away from me because I don't want nobody to experience what I experienced. At the time when they would say stupid stuff, I'd be like, well, when in my mind, I was saying, well, you gonna experience it and you gonna get it then, but that ain't
mm-hmm.
nothing you want nobody to experience. So it was times I
Absolutely.
literally had to ask God to forgive me and take that thought out of my mind because you had your bitter stage.
You
You go through
definitely
your
have your better
stage of
stage.
bitterness.
Did you ever go through denial?
No,
You never experienced
the
denial.
I didn't go through denial because of when my brother the way he passed. I didn't go through denial. Um, the fact that my mother, I couldn't see her. I couldn't. It was like I wouldn't say it was denial, but it was like unreal because I hadn't saw her. And so because I hadn't saw her in so long, it was the weirdest feeling ever because it was like it's still you still not seeing her. Like you saw her in the
Mm-hmm.
casket, but it was just me preparing for the day that I did get to see her, which would be in the casket.
Mm-hmm.
But because I went that long COVID period of not seeing her, yeah, it was like it was hard to process that. It was hard to process her death because it was like I ain't saw my mama in so long, in at least a couple of months. And so that was the weirdest feeling ever. Cause it was still
Okay.
like you have to remember your mother not here because it felt the same. Like I hadn't been
Mm-hmm.
seeing. So yeah.
You hadn't been seeing. Okay. What about you, Tasha? Did you experience denial?
I did. Um, I only experienced it um, the morning of her passing because um, at some point down the line, she and I had talked about who was going to do her services. And she was more concerned with how I wanted her services to go. I say, well, Mom, you're Mother Emeritus. I say, so you know I'm going to lay you out. I'm going to lay you out like you're the Mother Emeritus of your church. There will
Mm-hmm.
be no other way to do it. And I told her, I shared with her who I wanted to do her services. And I have a cousin that has a funeral service. I didn't want to use him because I'm extra and I wanted what I wanted. I'm like, nope, I want to go with this funeral home here because I'm gonna get everything. They come with
Yeah,
a
they
choir.
sympathetic.
They come with a choir. I didn't have to worry about going
Mm,
outside doing this, that. I say, Mama, I said, this is who I'm going with. So that was established.
mm,
And so that morning when she passed, a part of me, because my brother gave me so much hell the last month, I said, I ain't calling him telling him snot. He'll find out later on in the day when I call him and tell him. But then a part of me was like, Tasha, don't do that. And a
Mm.
part of me was like, I'm going to call my cousin Dante and tell him, okay, come on, make your way. Which I didn't have to do that because in hospice, you put down who you want, what funeral home you're going with.
Yeah.
So when a person passed away, they automatically put the call through.
Mm-hmm.
Dante was already on his way. Once I made the call to let my brother know, my brother called his son. His son decided to call our other cousin. And then I found out he on the way to the house because he didn't call me, cuz, how you doing? Because we're really close. I'm like, I'm not. He said, we on the way. I said, what you on the way for? He said, I'm coming to your house. I say, why you coming to my house? I already have a funeral home. He said, well, they called me. I said, who called you? He was like, Travis. I said, that wasn't his place to call you. If you
Mm-hmm.
didn't get a call from me, then no. I say, because the funeral home is already on the way to pick her up. Well, he was literally at the next block from my house.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what? Just come on. I called my best friend and told her, just call Dante and tell them don't come. And so in the end, I felt like I should have did it the way I said I was going to do it and who I was going to use and let them be pissed off and angry and not give a damn. But I said, okay, just do it this way to keep, so I don't
The
have to upset
peace.
myself. I was upset enough. Although
Mm-hmm.
my cousin laid my mama out the way I wanted him, he was like, whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you. I said, okay, this is what I want. My mama's favorite color is green. I said, I wish you could find me an emerald green casket. And just as sure as I said it, he said, I got one for you. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
huh? My brother wanted to go with white. I said, I ain't going with that. This is my call. I'm going to put my mother away the way I'm supposed to put her away. What you know about doing a service? You don't know. You've never done it. So in the end of all of that, I felt like I should have did it the way I wanted to do it as far as who I wanted to do the services. But when I tell you the back and forth, the bickering with, it's gonna be here. I say, how it's gonna be there? Her church ain't big enough to hold no more than, I'm probably being nice saying 125 people. Where they going? We could take turns and step outside and let people come in. The hell? I wish I would get up to go outside to let somebody come in and view my mama. Who you talking to?
Right.
We're not gonna have it here. We're gonna go here because it's big enough. And then that big old church still wasn't big enough.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my only denial about the whole process. And to this day, we do not talk. We do not communicate. There is no talking. After we put our mom in the ground, we don't conversate. And I'm okay with that. Stay away from me. He had nerve to tell me I want no kid in here. You ain't my sister. I said, you been wanting to say that a long time, huh? Keep that same energy. So that's the only denial that I had in it because I know I laid my mama out the way she would have wanted to be laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Next, let's move on to the next one. Coping mechanisms while dealing with your grieving journey. Sharon, what do you
Uh-huh.
do to cope? How do you
Well, I
cope?
told you.
What's your
I
go-to?
Go ahead. I
Go
ain't
ahead. I
gonna
said,
lie.
mm-mm.
I was smoking my butt off.
Oh,
Baby, I was smoking. I was smoking, smoking, smoking. I was smoking. I was eating. I was like I told y'all, my nieces and nephews was over. They were younger. They call me ratchet all they want, the viewers. I was smoking with my nieces and because they smoked. And I would rather them smoke around me than
then to go
anybody
outside.
else. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And don't know what they put in their mouth on. So yeah, I was smoking. I was smoking. I was having me a sip. We was cooking. The radio was playing. After I got through that phase, I started working out. I got up every day running, walking. I would walk for like 2 hours. I would hit the track. And that's what I did to cope. And I tried to, like, my friend would say, this guy, a friend of mine, I went over his house and he had obituaries everywhere, and I was like, are you, I was asking him a question. I was like, the fact that you still got these obituaries and things everywhere, I was like, does that mean that you're still not over them, you're still grieving? I was like, because I don't have that. I really don't want to see an obituary and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to deal with it. And so he
Mm-hmm.
asked me, his question was the opposite. He was like, okay, so the fact that you don't want to see it, does that mean you still grieving? And I was like,
Mm.
he might be right. Like, the fact that you got him around, maybe that means you learn to deal with it. The fact that I don't want to see him can mean the opposite, that I have still not yet learned to deal with it. But yeah,
Oh, right. And you haven't begun to process it. You haven't
yeah.
processed it yet.
And I think, like,
Mm.
so for us it was different because my mother and father requested to be cremated. They never wanted to be buried. My mom would always say, her and my father, like, don't bury me, don't spend all no money on no funeral, don't do none of that. And so we didn't bury them. So unlike other people, we don't have a plot to go to. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Mhm.
and I don't think I could anyway. My brother, he ain't had no choice but to be cremated because they set his body on fire. And so we had a service without his body even being
Mm.
there. We had
Oh
to have
my.
a service in
That's deep.
January. Yeah. We had to have a service in
That's
January
deep.
with posters and a banner
Mm.
because they hadn't even identified his body yet. They didn't identify his
Mm.
body till March. And so, yeah, it was, I smoked a lot. I was smoking my butt off. Yeah, I smoked, I
I know
worked
in the
out.
beginning for me, I drink. I used to drink a lot. I really turned into an alcoholic when my mom passed. And I was a alcoholic. Nobody even knew. I would just have it in my cup, in my car, just riding, just
Hmm.
drinking every day, every day. Like it hit me like you can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this. But after releasing myself from drinking so much, I began went back to journaling. So that's why I created the guided grief journal for brown girls because that helped
Hmm.
me process my mother's death. Like that, just having quiet time, and most importantly for me, resting. I rested a lot. I slept a lot. And just because you sleeping don't mean you resting,
Don't.
because there is a
Sure
difference.
don't.
But
Yeah,
I did a lot of resting, and that helped me to cope. That helped me to cope.
yeah.
Tasha, how about you?
Can I say one more thing? Oh, look at her.
Go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
got a
girl. You got
therapist. I got a therapist. I knew I needed to. I knew it. I was like, I'm not okay. I was okay with I said it out loud. I said it on Facebook. Like, I became real with myself. Like, I am not okay. I need a therapist. I
time.
need a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
therapist. And I
Mm-hmm.
got a therapist. And that has helped me so much. So much. But go
There is
ahead,
nothing
Tasha.
Well,
wrong with therapy. So I did a 13-week program called Grief Share. And
Hmm.
I think that anybody that's dealing with grief should participate in this 13-week program. Is very, very helpful. And on top of that, I did get a therapist. I go to therapy every week now for 1 hour. I have an amazing therapist. She helped me through some stuff that I didn't even know I was dealing with. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's nothing wrong with going to sit in somebody's chair or laying on the couch and talking about some things that you don't even know you're dealing with. Like in
Yeah.
the black community, that's one thing we shy away from going to get help. And we have
Hmm.
so many childhood trauma issues that's very so deep. that they manifested in our adulthood, and we're trying to figure out why we're acting this way. How about you go get some help to unpack some of that stuff?
Yep.
It's important. It's important. It's important, especially as
Very.
we're getting older. We're getting older. Our parents are leaving here. Certain things are happening in the world, and we have to get to a mentally healthy place to be able to deal with some of this stuff that's going on. And you have to unpack some stuff so you can make room in your mind for what's going to get ready to happen. Because if you don't, it's going to
Mhm.
be a ball of confusion. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead, Tasha. So that's all
this
you can. Your cup.
this been it. That's been it for me. That the first few months um was nothing but drinking and sleeping for me. Um I would not go into my room because a lot of my mom's stuff I put in my room. I stayed in the living room because that's where I had placed her room. I made my living room into her room. So I would just sleep in the living room. I would just lay there. I didn't want nobody to talk to me, don't bother me, don't call me. Um, I bought a tree specifically to decorate for her. Um, and I left the tree lit all Christmas, all up until matter of fact, I just took the tree down
Mm-hmm.
um this year, a few months ago. Should have just left it up. But I took the tree down because I got up one morning. I have a memorial set up in my living room. And I would just look at her throw blanket. I have a blanket with her picture on it. I have her obituary. I have her casket poster on the wall. And I'm just like, man, my daddy, my mama, my granny. Like, so that was that's what did it for me. Just sleeping and drinking. A couple times I tried
Mm-hmm.
smoking. I didn't like that. So then I would just give me some gummies, some edibles. I'm like, oh, this works for me. And that's what I
Mm.
soaked in. And I'm not gonna say I was an alcoholic because I'm not, because I don't drink like that. I might have a sip of wine or something, but for me, sleeping and like I don't want to go in my room. Like to this day, I still have not been in my room, and it's been almost a
Wow.
year. It's been almost a year. I'm like, I want to go in my room. I want to get this stuff put up and organized and just stored away. But I'm like, I want to
You
take
ain't
this
ready.
I want to take the memorial down, but then I'm like, my kids say no, mama. I have my mom's Bible that my aunt gave her. My mom's been had this Bible since I was a little girl. The real big jumbo gigantic hardback Bibles, the real big ones
Mm-hmm.
about 11 by 20. And she got everybody's birth certificates in there,
Everything. Yeah.
favorite scriptures, $2 bills and this and that. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just sitting there and I'm just like, wow, the fact that every day when I come in this house, I gotta realize that you're not here. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my coping is sipping on some wine, eating me an edible every now and then, because it's still fresh for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tried therapy, that
Mm-hmm.
stuff didn't work. And then I had a therapist that was like, well, now you ain't supposed to be in that class. I'm like, well, this what you told me. I don't even know who them people are. Well, let me stop talking to you because you need therapy yourself. So let me just stop talking to you. So I just felt like, so it was this and making sure I showed up for church no matter what. Because I was on a praise team. No matter what, I was still in place in ministry, doing what I needed to do. At times I was able to push through, and at times I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all. Okay. You got something else, Tasha, you want to say while I'm looking for? I'm trying to see what's our next episode. I can't find it.
Girl. Oh,
I can't find it. So I
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
have
We'll
it
post
locked
the
and
next
loaded before we
episode.
get ready to close out. I don't know.
We'll post it
I post
definitely
it.
if you don't find it. But Sharon, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you for being my
Absolutely.
special guest tonight, getting on, sharing your journey because it's a journey.
It is.
It's a
It is a
journey.
journey.
It's a new way of living. It's a new
Absolutely.
lifestyle, and people don't understand what it is. So I thank you for being strong enough to do this with us because it ain't always
Yeah.
strong for us as the host to get on
Sure
here and
ain't.
do it. And we try to do it without having a breakdown moment. That's why we say it's no filter. It's
No filter.
uncut, unedited. If it's a breakdown moment for you and you got to break down and be like, okay, I'm back, then whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's whatever you need to do. So we thank you for that. Continual prayers for you as you go forth.
Same for you all. Thank you. I'm glad y'all hear me on here because it's only person that I feel like I really have gotten a chance to talk to about it is my therapist. And like I said, she's helped me so much to the point that I'm like Crystal. I used to see her every single week, but when I talked to her a couple of weeks ago, she was like, "What you think about us seeing each other every time?" She would be like, "So what if we see each other every 2 weeks now?" So she's like, "You might not pay attention to your growth and how you've grown. You might kind of still be hard on yourself and you
Mm-hmm.
may not
Mm-hmm.
understand it." She was like, "But you've grown leaps and bounds." She was like, "The fact that now
Absolutely.
you're able to talk about it without being emotional, and even if you do, that's okay, but like." And so now we at the point where she like, "I could see you once a month now." I'm like, "Oh,
Oh
good."
my.
Like,
You said, oh, good.
yeah, because to me it represents how much I've grown and how
Yes,
much I
Absolutely.
growth,
Absolutely.
growth.
unpacked, like you said. And so for
Yes,
me it's like,
yes.
dang, I came this far, you know what I'm saying? Because for a long time, you know how the devil just fight you in your mind. I was like, okay, I lost a sister, a brother, a mother, and a father. And I've been lost a grandmother and grandfather. I was like, only thing left now, like I hold tight to my kids because
Your
I'm like,
children.
Yeah.
yeah, like I've experienced every other type of death and I got over that hurdle. And so it just make you reevaluate stuff so much different. Like I
Absolutely.
began to reevaluate the men that I've dated, like because once my father transitioned, I was like, hell no, my dad wouldn't want. Like I just felt like he had a bird's eye view of the men that I was dating and conversing with. I was looking like, hell no, I gotta cut you loose. My daddy would never approve of you. But yeah. So
And
yeah,
that's
but
a
I'm glad.
thing, having to live with the fact that
Yeah.
if you make it to walk down the aisle, that our moms and dads are
Absolutely.
not here. Daddy not here to walk us down the aisle.
That's
Mm-hmm.
Mama not
that's
here to see me get married. My mama not here to see me turn 50 next month. I'm just like, hell, I don't even care no more. Like,
Yeah.
whatever.
it becomes
Yeah.
that. It becomes that. It becomes that. It
And I'm
definitely
like, when
becomes
me and Crystal was talking, like now you feel like you can move out of town, like when times where you felt like you couldn't pick up and just move out of town.
Yes.
Now that they gone, you feel like, oh, I could get up and explore the
I
world
can
now.
go. I can go.
Yeah,
I
you
can go.
free as a
Yeah.
bird.
You
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Because my
And that and
responsibilities have been lifted. They're gone. So
Yeah.
I'm not responsible for taking care of my elders. My children are grown and on their own, and they're living their best lives wherever they may be at. So what
Mm-hmm.
am I staying for?
And
Yeah.
I said that the one
Yeah.
time I was gonna leave. I'm like, Mama, you can go with me. Cause why I'm still here. You're the only reason. I told her, girl, whenever you get up out of here, I'm on the first thing smoking. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
still here. I'm still ready to go. I'm still gonna leave it
Yeah.
within the next couple of years. Maybe next year. My son's graduating. My son is graduating next year. So I'm like, yeah, cause now I don't want to be here. I'm not a cemetery person. I'm not going to sit up at no cemetery all the time. Now, when that headstone arrives, I might.
Mm-hmm.
That's a strong mic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sunday, am I going? Yeah, no. I'm not ready to. I don't understand how people go and just sit at a cemetery.
Yeah.
I did it a couple times because I was like, I got to just go. stand here where my mama at, cause it's for real. Now I gotta make sure this is real. But now I'm like, yeah, no, I'm ready to push camp. I'm ready to go. You know.
Yeah, and you
Mhm.
still in your early stage.
You in your early state. Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Definitely, definitely. Sharon, you just spoke about something, and I want you to kind of because the way your mind works is amazing to me. You spoke about like the men you date.
Hmm.
Talk about how important it is to have support from a mate during the grieving stage, and how that can make or break the relationship.
Girl, don't
Yeah.
ask me that question right there now. You better bypass me on them, because they might be watching.
It definitely was it I think it's definitely important. At that time I just had a friend that I had been dating for a while, and during
Baby.
the time, he, he was honest with me. He was like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know how to deal with this. He was like, because I have dealt with death so much that I'm numb to it. Like, it's almost as if it's another day. It doesn't affect me the way it used to. And he
Hmm.
was like, and
Hmm.
so I don't know how to be there for you. Only way I know how to be there for you is financially. And that's what he did. He gave me money to buy things. Like, he was there for me financially. He gave me money, and that was his way of trying to make sure I was okay, or I didn't need anything financially. He was like, any other needs you have, like, I don't know how to feel them. And he was honest enough with me to tell me that. And so I couldn't hold it against him. But I think having a mate to be there is like very important, because yeah, sometimes you do want a person that you can lean on and cry to, and somebody, even though it's not going to be all right, you okay with hearing that it'll be all right
Hmm.
from
It'll
that
be okay.
person.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
From that
just
person.
from that person, because it's coming from a place of comfort, and them just trying to soothe you and just telling you what you might not accept it from somebody else, but doing a
Hmm.
point of grief, and they holding you and they telling you that. I think that is important. So yeah, I think having the right partner in your life at the time of grief and your people transitioning, I think that's very important. um and it means a lot. And you're right, it can make or break a relationship. It most definitely can,
Absolutely.
because some people don't know how to. You got some evil people in this world,
Baby.
evil, and they evil on purpose, and they be looking like some people want you to need them, like for all the times
Yes.
that you've been strong and they saw you do it, it's be like this, they finally, it's their chance. But it's so crazy that they wicked in that chance, wicked
Yes.
to the
Yes.
point that, like, yeah, she need me now. You know what I'm saying? And it be like the most wickedest stuff ever. But yeah, I think
That's
it's
true.
very important.
That
And
is that is definitely true.
I I think that's even with the friends you surround yourself with. But yeah, especially a mate. Um, you be needing that. I watched this thing the other day where they was talking about Kanye, and the guy asked the question. He said, if Kanye mother had not died, do you think he would have married Kim Kardashian? Everybody like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And so
Absolutely
the
not.
yeah, the guy goes to break it down. He was like, during your moment of grief, there's a vulnerability. He was like, and it's sad to say some black people don't know how to support that grief. He was like, but a white family come in, they surround you, they give you all the fake love that he was like, because he was a celebrity, and they knew his potential, and they knew what he
Hmm.
could possibly do for the family. And he was like,
Hmm.
so Chris played into that, and they all surrounded him with love, supported him on everything that he needed to do. He was like, and of course, in his vulnerability, he married her. And so it's important to, it's like I said, is people can do it for vicious reason, they can do it out of bitterness. It's like, yeah, it
Absolutely.
is definitely huge on who is in your corner at that time. Cause
Absolutely. And you
it'll
know
push you into a relationship you know you ain't got no business being in.
that is so true. And you know what else, Sharon? You know what else, Sharon? I speak about friends and mates wanting you while you're grieving, wanting you to show up daily and pour
Hmm.
100% into them and the life, not realizing that you're about to live a brand new normal and you don't have
Whew.
100% to give them or anybody else because you're piecing yourself back together and you don't really
Yeah.
understand your feelings, your emotions. So you're trying to figure it out. So how am I depleted? I'm on 20, negative 20%, and you're constantly asking me for 100%. Friend, I can't show up for you like that. I'm sorry. Dude,
And
I
that's
can't
where I
show up
say the
for you like
bitterness
that.
come
I'm
in at.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
when I had to start. That's why I said there was times I had to ask God for forgiveness, because those were the moments where I'd be like, so they don't understand what I'm going through. Okay, God gonna show them. And it was like I'm I'm in a position where I'm trying to release God wrath on people, and I was like, I don't supposed to do that. Like I don't got no business doing that, because the truth of the matter is I don't even want nobody to feel what I'm feeling. But at times you be looking like, oh, you gonna see what I'm going through real soon. It
You go.
was like,
My, my,
yeah, because you
my
feel
favorite
like,
line
man,
is,
y'all don't see me. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I was going
yeah,
through that
yeah,
state of
yeah.
mind. Like, so you don't see me? You don't see me going through it? Like,
You don't see
you
me.
don't have no sympathy for me? And it was like, okay, you gonna see. If you finna
Yes.
see. And yeah, I had to ask God to forgive me, because I was like, do your thing. And that's terrible.
Not do your
That
thing.
is
Is that
terrible.
what you're talking?
Yeah, I was looking like, okay, God, you got to show them, because they think it's a joke. So yeah, it was
Girl.
like I had to go back and ask God to forgive me. Like I ain't want nobody to experience what I was experiencing, because some
Yeah,
people
and
don't make it out of that.
that's true. And that's one of my favorite lines. I tell people, oh, you got to sit on that road one day. You have to
Ah,
sit on that
look.
road one day. And when you get on
Yeah,
that road, you're going to be expecting the same thing that I was that you
that
lacked
you couldn't
empathy
give
and
me.
sympathy to give me.
Yeah,
And what happens is we turn around and we still have the empathy and sympathy for them, although they didn't give it to us. Because
No,
we're
I don't.
I
the
was
bigger
finna
person.
say, I ain't gonna lie, I did not all
I
the
will.
time. No, I did not. And I
I
wanted
will.
to, but it was like, let you go through it like I said, let you go through it like I went through it. I'm not gonna lie. There was times that I did not have it to give. I ain't wanted to give. Um, there was at one point I was grieving, and I had a conversation with a family member, and they was like, that ain't no excuse. You still could have woo woo this. And I was like, you know what, God, they gonna feel that. Everything they said to me, they gonna feel that. And I had to, that's why I said I had to turn around and ask God, like, you know what, God, I don't even want them to feel that. When it's their time, they gonna remember exactly what they said to me. That's when you allow them to
Hmm.
remember that. Cause in my mind, it was all evil. Like, I cannot wait to tell you that don't matter. Okay,
Mm.
life goes on. That don't matter. Same thing you told me, like, that ain't no excuse. I could not wait to say that ain't no excuse. And I had to ask God to forgive me. So yeah, I wasn't
Mm,
always,
mm,
I'm
mm.
not gonna lie. I don't think I wasn't always in that state of mind, and I don't think I would always be in that state of mind. And I'm just being
I
honest.
think for me, my heart is so big. I've always been open to giving people empathy when it comes to grieving. Um, but what I realized in therapy, I realized that I had become so depleted by pouring out that I had to begin to create boundaries, and I had to begin to say
Absolutely.
no, and I had to begin to tuck them away. my feelings for myself, and not care so much about what others had going on. Because how can I be there for you and I can't even be there for myself?
You
I'm
can't pour
losing
from an
every
empty
day.
cup. You
You
cannot. You
can't. I'm
cannot pour from an
empty,
empty cup.
empty,
You can't.
drain. So I had to realize that, and I had to fall back. And that's just me being honest. I had to fall back. Now, was it easy? It was not easy, but it was something that I had to do for me. And I had to go on this journey so that I could get my joy back and bring my happy back. Because although it looked like I was faking it. Now that I experienced the therapy and went through the healing and the growing, and I processed everything I need to pretty much process. I think I'm whole, healed, and happy now, without
Yeah.
apology.
And
Without
that's
apology,
because you set boundaries. That because you had to. That was the only way you
I
was
had
gonna
to.
get through it. You had no choice but to. I set so many boundaries. I used to, baby. I'm down to 2 or 3 people, maybe 4. Like I don't hang out. Y'all don't. Y'all barely see me. I stopped hanging with the people that I used to hang with. I because I started when people would be so petty with me with the simplest stuff, I began to evaluate life. And
Hmm.
my thing was, I don't want any more one-sided relationships. I made up my mind. I'm not doing any more one-sided relationships. I began to tell people after the people I lost to death, you think I care about losing people to life? I can give a damn about losing people to life. So if
True.
I can get you right out of my way, that's what I was gonna do. I was
That's
moving
true. That's
everybody
true.
out of my way, and I began to set boundaries. Like I started telling my sister, like that's the one thing I hate that my parents didn't teach us growing up, set boundaries, because we grew up in church. Like I said, I'm a pastor's kid, and so it was like be nice, forgive everybody. I felt like that's what my brother did right now today, because he had somebody around him still trying to show love, when not to say that he should not have been loving him, but that's the person that eventually killed him. And so it was like, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done. Like I can love you, but I'm gonna love you with boundaries. I'm gonna love you from my set of rules, not what I was just like taught strictly in church.
Top.
Love, forgive, do this. Like no, there are manners in which everything should be done. And so
Absolutely.
I set boundaries, and them
Yep.
boundaries helped me get rid of so many people
Absolutely.
and so many one-sided relationships.
Do y'all know that I was 44 years old when I found out that no was a complete sentence? I'm so serious. Like,
I could believe it.
just no. Because we so used to saying,
Yeah,
yes,
people be
I'll
like,
give
why?
it, you can have it. Yeah. No, it's no.
Yeah,
It's no. It's no. Oh wow,
yeah.
we've unpacked so much tonight. Sharon, what you got for the people that you want to leave them with? I'm sorry, Tasha. Did you
Hmm.
have something to say?
Y'all want to ask me, girl? Y'all want to ask me now? I'm trying. Listen, y'all want to ask me?
Well, give us something. You gotta give us something. Give us something.
Got what you want me to give you? What's your question?
Giving you
Let
the
her
best
be.
that I got.
I, dealing with a mate. I was dating. I was dating when my mom took ill. Um, long time friend of mine, and he was there. He was there every step of the way. But them colors started showing, and that one time he showed that color, my mom was having a surgery. He drove all the way to the city to get petty because he couldn't find a park. You know, hospitals, you got to pay for parking on the streets. I can't find a park. Go park in the garage. I will have your ticket validated. I'm going back home. So you drove all the way out here for nothing? Okay, go home, whatever. That showed me the true colors.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't talk to him no more after that. Every now and then. And then that day, surgery, it was supposed to be like a 2-hour surgery that turned into like an 8-hour surgery. I hadn't
Wow.
heard from him how things go. Nothing until 2 days later. I said, you texted
Mm,
me 2 days
mm,
later? Lose this number. How about
You
that?
was that upset? Please.
Lose this number because you was that upset about a damn pub and you went back home. Boy, dad, lose this number. So,
mm, mm,
um,
mm.
I just felt like, okay, God, you just showed me his true colors. Okay. But what I did tell him, I say, oh, trust and believe. The pain that I'm going through, it's going to hit you. And when it hits you, you're not going to even understand. But keep in the back of your mind that I
You
told you
gonna
that it's going
remember
to hit,
me? Did you hear
that
that?
it's
You
going to
gonna
hit
remember
you.
me?
How you did me, it's going to hit you. So then God placed, um, I was going, it was one of them moments I was like, listen, I just need to go outside. And God placed a friend to say, hey, I'm gonna take you out. I was like, no, it was just something I put up there, just felt like something good to say. I don't have time to go outside. I'm caring for my mom. He said, that's fine when you get some time. Um, and I was like, well, this ain't the norm that I usually, date. I'm stepping outside the box. Today we still together. I'm stepping outside the box. I'm gonna see what it do. And when I tell you, he has been my rock. When my mom passed, he was like, "Oh my God!" He didn't know what to say, because he knew the everyday life. My mama was my life. The hospitals, the nursing homes, all of that was my life. Everything was on the back burner. My daughter made sure my son got back and forth to school because my life was my mama. My only downtime was when
Mhm.
I would get time to go out walking. Um, and so when she passed away, um, I didn't answer his call. He had called me a couple times. I finally texted to say my mom passed. He didn't know what to say. Somebody was like, "You gotta reach out to her." He was like, "What do I say?" Like, he was like, "I don't know." She didn't want to talk. And to this day, it's like he said, "I'm here for whatever you need."
Hmm.
And I'm like, God placed you in my life at the time he did because the person that I was with, I had to move him out the way for him to make you appear.
Yep.
But these no good nothing um ninjas, they
Girl,
will definitely show you their true colors.
Yeah.
absolutely,
And not
absolutely.
even them, people in general.
People in general.
When I tell you, I know without a shadow of a doubt, I have been there for so many people. I have showed up, whether I whether a card, especially when it come down to funerals, losing somebody. When
Yep.
I say I
Mhm.
know I have showed up and to not get that back in return, that will bother you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's where the
It
Yes.
will
bitterness
bother.
kick in.
Not a hey, I'm sorry for your loss. Not a you got my condolence. Not a nothing. When I know that I have been there in physical, I have cooked some stuff, showed up and just let you lay on my lap, lay on my shoulder, answer my phone when you needed somebody to talk to. And then you got nerve not to, when it's my time, you got nerve not to even send you have my condolence. When I tell you when my mama left here, that helped me cut so many people. A circle, girl, I ain't got no circle.
Phew.
My circle, my circle is a Urkel. It's real small, it's real tight.
Yeah. I got
It's
a
And them
tight
mm,
tight
circle.
people, and it ain't even family. Cause baby family, they all cut. Get somewhere and sit down somewhere.
get
Mm-hmm.
somewhere.
Um,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
Urkel is really, really, my circle consists of my close knit sisters. And then if you ain't been in my life in the last 2 years, baby, bye. Get
Yep.
on some, well, get on somewhere. Miss me with all of that. Don't send me no invitations now. Don't, hey, are you coming? No, because when I
Get
needed you to show
right.
up, where was you? I shouldn't have to
Mhm.
call you and say, I need you. I shouldn't have to call you and say nothing. I just shouldn't. Yeah, no. I told you don't ask me. Um, Everybody got cut. with the exception of my circle, and my circle consists of my sisters in Christ. That's it. That's all.
Yep.
Okay. Sharon, you want to leave the people with something inspirational before we close out?
Um, Inspirational. What I would say is, therapy helps. I know Tasha said it didn't work for her. It didn't help her. But for me, therapy helped tremendously. Like I said, I got a better relationship with God. I definitely did that. I used to have to set an alarm to wake me up to pray and make sure God is the first person that I talk to in the morning. I no longer
Mm-hmm.
have to set an alarm. I do that on a regular. I don't care if I get a 4-5 in the morning. God is the first
Mhm.
person that I try to talk to every single morning. That has helped me a lot. When I didn't know what to say, what to think, like I turned to God. I turned to the weed. I had me a couple of drinks, but God sustained. He lasted way longer than the weed and the drink.
Absolutely.
So yeah, when I'm
Absolutely.
I'm past that now, I don't care about none of that. I'd rather have Jesus. Like God did it for me.
Absolutely.
And my and
Absolutely.
thank God I got introduced to my therapist and everything else. Like God, He designed it for me. And so I definitely say, um, get a therapist. Get a therapist. Yeah.
Tasha,
Hmm.
girl, I'm not fooling with you.
Lean on God. That's it. You have to lean on God and trust that He don't make any mistakes. Yeah, we question God. We shouldn't, but we question because oh, did I question Him? But we have to still in all lean on Him. Like Sharon said, talk. Let Him be the first person you talk to. I'm up every morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, and I have my time with Him. Even throughout the day, I have my time with Him.
Yeah.
No, baby, I ain't sleep. I'm woke, Kyla. I have my time with Him throughout the day. Again, it's still fresh for me. It's just coming up to 8 months in a couple days. So it's a journey that I am learning to live with. And my church family, my bishop has been my rock um, through it all. And I thank God for them. I thank God for having a sound mind, an understanding mind to still in all be able to still go to Him. Now, therapy didn't
Mm-hmm.
work for me, but I have the spiritual guidance and I know
Mm-hmm.
God for myself. And I know that He's walking with me every step of the way. So
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you all to um, look to the hills from which cometh your help and know that all of your help comes from God.
Comes from God. And it still ain't too late, Tasha,
Absolutely.
for your therapy. Like you'll eventually run into a good therapist that will work for you. Yeah.
A good therapist. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, ladies. Now for me, this is something I normally don't do at the show, but tonight I just feel like I need to leave everyone with this verse. Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not until thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct our
Yeah.
paths.
Yeah.
As we bring this episode to a close, I would really want to thank you, Sharon, for pouring out your heart tonight and being so open to converse with us about your grief journey. Throughout our conversations, we've ventured into heart of grief, dispelling misconceptions along the way. Our conversation, excuse me, y'all. Our conversations illuminated the profound mental, physical, and emotional impact of grief. As a grief coach, my mission is to help you navigate and embrace your grief with compassion. Keep in mind, there is no right or wrong way to grieve. To those presently on their own grief journey, remember that you are not alone. Grant yourself the time and space needed to heal. It's a journey of gradual process and progress.
Mhm.
Stay tuned for our up and coming episodes where we'll explore diverse dimensions of grief and its healing process. Take good care of yourself. As I always say, be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Find you, find you that one thing that allows you to cope and be at peace. For me, I found baking. Baking gives me so much peace and joy. That's my thing. So this week, get you a journal, write down some things that you like to do and what gives you peace, gives you joy, and keep you happy, and begin to do those things. Incorporate those things into your weekly routine. Take good care of yourself and practice self kindness. It's worth noting that healing is possible, and together we can pay tribute to the essence of grief. As I close, I always say this: if there was no love, there'll be no grief. If there wasn't
Hmm.
any grief, you have not been loved. So consider yourself blessed. Have a good
Mhm.
evening and thank you so much. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Tasha.
And I'm Sharon. Thank you
Have
all
a good
for having me.
night. Thank you for being on Unwrapping the Gift of Grief.
Now make me a cake.